Hey there! I am going to talk to you guys today about how to wake up earlier. So, waking up early is something that I started to do a couple of years ago when my husband was in the Air Force and he was leaving for work at 3 a.m. in the morning. Um, my body kind of started to just wake up when I would hear him, up and getting ready. And so I started to just wake up with him. Usually I would wake up right around like 2:45. When did he leave for work? Right around 3:30, I think. So somewhere around 3 o'clock, I would start to wake up. Keep in mind that we did go to bed very early because of this. We were usually in bed by 8. At 9 at the absolute latest was kind of when we went to bed. And it just worked with our schedules because we were eating, dinner really early and then we were waking up early. So my body kind of got used to that. And as I was kind of, forcing myself to wake up at that time, I realized that the morning was when I was actually the most productive. I felt really creative in the morning. It was really easy for me to write blog posts and just create content. But also it allowed me to focus on my business first before, kind of getting into the day, getting into emails, going to my day job, and all the housework and just regular things of life that kind of distract from my passion. So starting to wake up earlier was something that I did by accident, but I've continued to do on purpose, and I want to talk about all of the things that I do in order to wake up early and not feel like a complete zombie. So my first tip to you is to give yourself time to adjust. And what I mean by this is that the first, few weeks up to a month that you are waking up earlier is going to be rough. You're not going to feel super productive. You're not going to feel that awake. So just take that time to do something relaxing, whether that's just meditating, maybe reading a book, maybe just making yourself a nice breakfast and just really enjoying a nice long breakfast, just sitting on the couch, maybe watching the news. It doesn't have to be something super intensive. You don't have to go and work out or go running. Do something that's kind of calming and just helps you wake up slowly, just to get your body used to its new routine. For the first few weeks, you really are going to have to use a lot of discipline and a lot of energy just to wake up early. And so you don't want to force your body to then exert more energy into doing something, like a task, a really productive thing, because you're not going to stick with it. So give yourself time to adjust. Also, keep in mind, as I talk about all of this, just because I say wake up early does not mean that you have to wake up at 3 a.m. For you, waking up early might be 8 a.m., it might be 10 a.m. Pick a time that works for you. Usually an hour to 2 hours earlier than you wake up now is kind of where I'm helping you get to. So I used to wake up around 6 or 7 a.m. to get ready for work. Now I wake up around 4 a.m. So that's kind of the difference there. The second tip that I would give you is to prepare the night before. I've talked about this a lot in other videos, but your evening routine is sometimes more important than your morning routine. Being able to wake up and not feel like you have to pull yourself out of bed, or being able to wake up and not feel rushed, is one of the best things that you can do for yourself to help you enjoy mornings more. So for me, what my evening routine kind of includes is cleaning up the kitchen, making sure all the dishes are done, and then also pulling out like a coffee mug, getting my tea or coffee ready for the morning, maybe pulling out any pots or pans that I need to cook myself breakfast. I also like to pull out my outfit for the next day. I'm tired, I'm groggy, I don't want to think about what I want to wear. I just pull it out the night before so that way I don't have to think about that in the morning. As well as, getting my purse together, notebooks, whatever things I'm going to need for work that day, maybe even packing my lunch and just putting the lunchbox in the fridge ahead of time. Getting all of that stuff kind of ready the night before allows me to wake up and just do what I want to do in the morning and not have to worry as much about getting ready. It also gives me a little bit more time in the morning to, wake up and get my body kind of in work mode or in productive mode. Tip number 3 is to get used to one alarm. You guys, I hear this all the time. So many of you guys have like 8 alarms set on your phone. You snooze the first 7 before you actually wake up. This is actually so bad for your body, and it makes you more groggy throughout the day. Whether you wake up at 11 a.m. or 4 a.m., this is messing with your natural sleep cycle, and it's making it harder to get up. If you just set one alarm and you get up out of bed, you don't have to necessarily be excited about it, but just sit up, get out of bed, even if you just go to the bathroom or go sit on the couch, just get up. That will tell your body that it's time to wake up. If you hit snooze, what your body does is it's first jolted awake from your first alarm, which I'll talk about in a second, and then you hit snooze and you tell your body, okay, we're going back to sleep. And then you wake up again 8 minutes later or however long. What this is doing is messing with your sleep cycle. You're going into a deep sleep, waking up, getting towards deep sleep, and then waking up. And when you jump from a deep sleep to fully awake, that's what makes you feel groggy. So the less that you do that to your body, the easier it'll be to actually get up and moving. I know it doesn't feel like it at first, but if you start to do it for just a few days, you'll notice a difference right away. So just set one alarm. Now, tip number 4 has to do with alarms as well. Like I said before, waking up from a deep sleep to wide awake is not easy, and it's hard on your body. So if you can get a tool that figures out when you're not in a deep sleep and wakes you up at a more optimal time, that will help you feel more awake and less groggy as well. So the app that I use is called, what is it called? You guys, I just totally forgot what it was called. It's called Sleep Cycle. It's this little orange one right there. I've been using this for almost a year now. It is so handy. Basically, you set an alarm with a 30-minute interval. So for me, I have my alarm set between 4 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. And what that does is it monitors your sleep. You just leave the phone upside down like this, plugged in on your nightstand, and it listens to your breathing. It listens for movement, for if you're awake or not. And as you kind of wake up a little bit more, it will set your alarm off. If, for whatever reason, you stay in a deep sleep for a solid 30 minutes that the alarm is set for, it'll just go off at the latest time. For me, that would be 4:30. So it's really helpful to try to, not wake you up when you're feeling as groggy. And it also tracks all of your sleep, so you can see how well you're sleeping, how many hours you're getting, and that can really help you start to get in the habit of waking up early. Number 5. This one is probably the hardest for some people to do, and it might be the easiest for others to do. And that is to get in a routine of your bedtime and your wake-up time. Now, I'm not saying that you have to wake up at 4 a.m. on the weekends, but the closer that you can get to your wake-up times and sleep times and the smaller window you can create, the better your body will react to this new change. So for me, I am always in bed by 9 p.m., and that makes me a grandma, and I'm totally okay with that. Every night, I'm in bed by 9 p.m. If I don't really feel that tired, I'll just read, or I'll scroll through Instagram. You don't have to necessarily be asleep at the same time, but tell your body it's time for bed. I do a little bit of a bedtime routine starting around 8:30 so that I'm in bed by 9, and for me, my body really gets tired by 8:30, and 9 o'clock, I'm usually ready for bed. And then also try, even on the weekends, to wake up at the closest to the time that you can as possible. So I wake up at 4 a.m. no matter what day of the week it is, even though I go into work at various times. I try to keep that as consistent as possible during the week. And then for the weekends, I still wake up pretty early. Part of that right now has been because we're training for a half marathon, so we wake up early to run anyways. I'm usually awake by 5:30, but even before then, we were awake by 7 a.m. And part of that is because we have a puppy who wants to go outside. And the other part of that is just because my body wakes up. I can't really sleep in that late anymore. The only times I really sleep in is if I'm sick or if we stayed up really late the night before. Another tip for you as you get used to this would be tip number 6, is to take naps. Naps can actually really help you catch up on your sleep. There's so many studies that say you can nap instead of sleep. I don't know if I believe that, but I do know that naps really help me be able to just sleep 6 to 7 hours a night and still feel perfectly energized for my day. So what I do is when I get home from work, which is around 3 p.m., I take a coffee nap. And I think I talked about this in another video, but I'll go over quickly. Basically, I get home, I make myself a cup of coffee, I drink it within a 5-minute period, and then I take a 20-minute nap. The reasoning behind that is because coffee takes around 20 minutes to enter your system, to get into your bloodstream, and to actually start waking you up. So if you nap during those 20 minutes that the coffee is doing its magic, then you will be able to feel more energized and awake at the end of your nap when you are starting to wake up. The reason I say 20 minutes also is because 20 minutes usually isn't long enough to get you into REM sleep, which is the kind of dream state. And what that does is it makes it much easier to wake up because it's not a really deep, heavy sleep. It's just a quick nap. Usually after that, I feel perfectly energized. I feel ready to go and get a lot more work done. And around, bedtime, around 9 o'clock, the coffee has already worn off and I feel ready to go to bed. So those are my tips for waking up early. If you have your own tips or if you are going to try this out, let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.